And Matt's is purely retail
No, Max is partial residential.
as well. So all three properties.
No, Bierman's is still 1024, which is the community bank building.
Yeah.
It's still considering whether there'll be some residential upstairs. There may be an artist studio, which would be great. If it was a live workspace for an artist, that's gonna make the application more competitive.
And I just have another question. When you submit the applications, how much does it enhance the application to have a clear idea of what the intention of the space is? In other words, if they're ambivalent about we're going to do,
We're gonna make sure that the application is very clear about what's being used.
Okay.
The space is being used for by the time it's done being written. And we
Okay.
trust me on
I we have to. Thank you.
So the residential component is not a requirement,
It's not a requirement.
but it just helps a lot.
In my mind, it does. The restore that Roxbury just got funded does not have a residential component. So, whether or not that's the win or lose, I can't say. But we all know we need housing.
Yes, we do.
Any more questions regarding yes, Vicky?
I'm just curious, why is a public hearing required for something like this? Because it seems that this is simply an agreement between an individual developer and the Restore New York. So
No,
why
that's
do we
not
have
correct.
that?
The village is the applicant.
Oh, I
It
see.
must be a municipal applicant.
Oh, I see.
It cannot be a private developer. It cannot be a not-for-profit. The applicant must be the municipality where these projects are contained. The developer then becomes the sub-recipient.
Oh,
So, the village of Fleischman's is the lead agency on this.
Thank you, Peg.
Any further questions? Yes, sir.
Forgive me if I asked this at some previous meeting, but I don't remember the answer.
Forgive me if I can answer well enough that you remember.
Who is the ultimate decision maker on this?
So ultimately, it will be the state.
Yeah, but specifically who in the state?
So it's, the program is run through Empire State Development. So they'll work with the project developers to say, this is an eligible use, yes, this is what the application reflects. So, there's some guidance along the way, but the developers also have some freedom to do this, but they still have to go before your planning and zoning.
And does Empire State Development Authority, is that still organized by regions? And so who is on our region committee? Because they are the ones that will be deciding, right?
Well, it's not the regional council that decides, it's the state office. And it's not deciding on who gets the grant, you mean?
On yes or no on our three buildings.
Oh, no, that goes all the way up the chain. It would be Empire State Development would make recommendations. They don't review, the regional council does not review the applications, at least we did the last round. So Empire State Development staff on the state level reviews and scores the applications. They make their recommendations to the governor's office and so forth.
And are you still on one of those councils?
Yes, I am,
Which one?
the Southern Tier.
Okay, are there any other new questions? Yes, Barb.
It's the colds again.
So, is it one could get approved and two couldn't, or is
This,
this a
no, this
whole
whole ball of wax
Okay.
either gets approved or doesn't. And moving forward, if it doesn't get funded, we'll find out immediately where we scored low and revisit the application in the next round. I think that's the, standard procedure.
If you're just saying, the second what the grant is for, because the meeting.
Gloria, I can give you, since we've had the presentation, I'll give you a briefing of what each of these projects is going to do.
I thought we started at 5:30.
It did.
It did.
Yeah.
That's so much more.
Yeah, so I'll make a copy for you. If there are no further questions, I think we can close the public hearing. So can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Okay, a second? Jasmine, second, all those in favor?
Aye.
The public hearing is completed. Thank you very much, Peg.
Thank you, Peg.
I just want you to know that Diane Pickett, town clerk in Roxbury, trained me well. I made a copy for your clerk for her minutes.
Thank you.
To have it because otherwise I'd get yelled at.
Okay, thank you very much, Peg.
Do you need me to say anything, Winfrey?
No, I don't think so, but, yes, the planning grant for Main Street, is that is, soon to
We
be,
just got the contract executed, so we'll start with the RFPs and then I'll be in touch.
okay.
I'll have my people call your people, okay?
Okay,
All right.
okay, I'll let my people know.
Oh, I have one more thing. I just have to say, the 3 property owners have been very forthcoming with information needed for this. Special shout out to Ben. He is amazing, does things promptly and far beyond what anyone would expect. So good job.
Thank you, Ben.
Go, Ben.
Okay, so I will call the meeting of the regular meeting of the Village of Ashland's Board of Trustees for January 12th, 2023. It is 5:45, so we're starting early. Yeah, we shall proceed. So let's start with the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
United States of America. To the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
We have a roll call. Carol, can you just read off? Oh, okay, Sam, are you here?
I am. Yes.
Stuart?
Here.
Here, Jasmine? Here. Winifred, yes. So we have a few announcements. Sam, would you like to
Sure.
make the announcement?
I'd like to do, make everybody aware of the passing of another longtime Placements resident, Patrick Frankowiak, which passed, very, very long time resident. And, you know, a lot of us remember him. So we're gonna miss one more long timer. The other thing that I wanna, unfortunately, Brandon is not here, but I wanted to thank him publicly because a couple of weeks ago, we had a flashing, a flickering in the back of the office. He noticed that. This was probably about, early 8:00 p.m. So he called me, and unfortunately, I don't have keys for this place. So I ended up calling Stuart because Winifred was on vacation. So we went around, we ended up calling Roy Todd, which has keys, and came over and was able to get in and turn off the lights. So I want to make sure that I thank Brandon, because this is what communities do. Communities do this. They help out each other, and see something, you say something, and we were able to, take care of that issue that night. Could have been a shortage, fire, and then that would be it. But I want to make sure that all of you are aware, and we want to thank Brandon. We need people like that. Thank you. Thank you, Winifred.
Next item is the minutes for the December 12th, 2022 meeting. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes? Motion to approve. Jasmine,
I second.
any additions, corrections to the minutes?
No.
Okay, all those in favor?
I
Opposed, motion carries. The reports from the wastewater treatment plant for December the code enforcement monthly reports of permits issued in the village and the financial report for November 30th have been circulated. Can I have a motion to approve these documents?
I make a motion to approve the wastewater document.
Okay, we're going to do them individually.
Yeah.
We can do them all at once. Yeah. Can I have a second? Yeah, any comments or questions or on the reports? As part of the financial report, you probably observed that there's a forecast for the full year. We're in the 7th month of our fiscal year, and as it looks now, we will be on budget. A lot of variations, but we'll be on budget for to break even this year. Let's see, so there's a motion on the floor. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Pass. The public spaces reports. Do you have anything new on bonfires, dog control?
I'm working on the bonfires with Yvonne. And also have to wait for the warmer weather so we can take pictures of the playground, the ground. So we can email Eric and hopefully we can get it done as soon as weather gets a little warmer.
Oh, that's the repairs to the disability playground.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, we've had some more reports of incidents with dog off leash, and it's a persistent problem. So we need to address it, and we probably need to address it with the sheriff because it is of concern for residents and visitors when they are fearful of dogs off leash. So I guess can the three of us, Jasmine, you and I, can get together over this?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. There's an update on fundraising. We are now prepared to submit the Restore New York program. We're in the midst of submitting the proposal for the Environmental Facilities Corporation for an upgrade to our wastewater treatment plant. And as Peg reported, we're ready to do the RFP for the planning grant for the development of Main Street, which is what would be intended to lead to a larger proposal to fund the development of Main Street. So that's a planning grant that we're in the midst of implementing. The sewer budget. We've circulated the sewer budget, and have you had a chance to look at it, Stuart?
Right, it's gone up about $3 since last year. So I think we're at $128 a year for the residential. Now we're up to 130.
Yeah, that the billing to residential property owners goes up by the cost of living.
Right, that was 3.3.
3.3, yeah. Overall, yeah, but overall, the budget for the wastewater treatment plant is now at it's proposed at $535,000, an increase of $45,000 from last year, which is an 8% increase. And those increases are primarily for price increases for the contract with Cedarwood, the increases in rates for fuel, for chemicals, for sledge hauling, and for a one-time activity of tank cleaning at the wastewater treatment plant. So we're relying upon Cedarwood for the best for management of this project of this program. And barring any alternative views of how to approach this, I'm recommending that we should move forward with this budget. If we want to do a deeper dive, we could schedule a special meeting, but I don't know that there's anything more that will surface other than the changes which are reflected in the overall economy, which burdens the village, the residents, but the village has been able to operate with only a 3% increase in the tax levy, but the wastewater treatment plant has many more purchases associated with it that are driving this increase. So can I have a motion regarding the adoption of the wastewater treatment plant budget operated by Cedarwood for the period April 1, 2023 to March 31. That's the fiscal period that we operate the wastewater treatment plant, consistent with the city of New York, who funds 85% of the project. So it's the budget year is driven by the major funder. Okay, so
Right, and we just wanted to note that it's running at a very low rate of inflation. And 10 out of the 12 months, we're adding additives to the system to make it work, like expired milk, 12 gallons a day.
And Winifred, I mean, we all know that everything is through the roof. Everything has skyrocketed. So yes, I mean, this is something that we, looking at everything, we expected, so yes.
okay, so can I have a motion to adopt the wastewater treatment plant budget in the amount of $535,000 as proposed by Cedarwood?
I make that motion
Okay.
to adopt that.
And second, all those in favor? Motion carries. The Middletown fire contract and the Halcott fire contract have been prepared based on a budget that was adopted through a board process that was adopted in November or December. We now have the written contracts, which are consistent with prior years, that reflect the costs of the fire department of $139,000 a year, and which is funded. Our fire department is funded. That $139,000 is funded by $79,000 by the Middletown Fire District Number 1, and I think it's $37,000 by Halcott and $24,000 by the Village of Fleshman. So the burden of the fire department falls on the communities who contract with us. So can I have a motion to adopt the contracts as presented?
Motion to adopt the contracts as presented.
Okay.
by the fire department.
Second. All those in favor, any further comments?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. We have a request from the fire department to appoint 4 new members to the fire department roster, having satisfied the training requirements. And I'm looking for the names. I don't seem to have the, oh, you got it here? Okay. So the following have been approved by the fire department, and we are to ratify Ryan Bender, Jessica Serp, Devin Amundson, and Carl Groschel. So can I have a motion to appoint these individuals to the Fleischman's Fire Department?
Motion.
Motion, second,
I second that.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, motion carries. I think that completes our business agenda. And I open the floor to public comments. Yes, John.
I'm just wondering, at the last meeting in December, there was a new traffic law passed for the mixed use district. And you indicated there were some further steps that need to be taken with the state to actually finalize the implementation of that. And I'm just wondering if those have been done.
Oh, okay, the parking law that was adopted in December has gone to the Delaware County Planning Department, who met on January 4th. I don't have an update on the results of their meeting, but I will follow up with that.
Thank you.
Yes, Heidi.
The planning grant that Peg was talking about for Main Street, does that involve the theater?
It may. It's intended to develop an overall development strategy for Main Street, which includes all commercial entities, the theater, and so the answer is yes.
And what do you know the cap for that grant?
The planning grant is a $20,000 grant.
Oh,
So the planning grant will make recommendations on where to invest.
oh, it's just planning, it's not
Right.
getting the money to implement.
No.
So the grant money is for the consultant,
That's correct.
and, okay, and $20,000 is an appropriate sum for the consultant? Do you know that?
I don't have an answer to that question, since Peg developed the proposal for the planning grant and has experience with that. I assume she developed the proposal based on the ability to fund it and the realistic ability to undertake important work. And any other questions? Okay, Alan.
Remind us of the deadline for submitting petitions to run for election.
That's actually in the minutes. From the minutes. Worded. The village clerk announced that the petition for positions for the March 2023 elections are due February 7th through February 14th.
And that one is period.
Right, no earlier than February 17th and no later than February 14th.
And they're submitted to town clerk, village clerk.
Village clerk, yes. And the village clerk has those petition forms.
Okay.
Any other questions? It's a quiet evening. Then I will close the public comment period. And I will ask for a motion to order the vouchers.
Motion to order that.
Okay.
I second that one.
Second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, motion passed. And a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second, 6 o'clock. we adjourn.
Once again, Mr. Todd, thank you. Thank you for everything you do for placements. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you all for